In the February edition of Electricity and Control, I felt obliged to write a comment which does relate to the national energy utility, and that is Eskom. I think we've all heard a lot of very negative stuff around Eskom, and I think that that's completely and utterly understandable. We do in fact face a crisis as a nation. I think one of the things, however, we need to recognize is the following, that within Eskom are some of the most remarkably competent engineers working in the utility field on this planet. And we need to recognize that. We need to also recognize that many of these people are working under inordinate pressure and in fact doing a remarkable job given the circumstances. The circumstances, of course, are a matter for another discussion. The other important thing to appreciate as we go through the frustrations of load shedding is to understand that effectively what we've been doing is running our national grid as if we were driving a motor car with its temperature gauge in the red. There's no doubt you can keep going like that, but the point is that once you stop that car, it's unlikely you'll ever restart the motor. So the consequence of not stopping the system to maintain it is permanent damage. And although it may be late, the decision to implement load shedding and allow us to actually start repairing the national network is absolutely crucial. I think the other very important point is that what has become very clear in this entire analysis is that we are paying far too little for electrical energy. And without question, we'll have to review the way we decide how much we pay and where that decision is made. Without doing that, we are really not going to get ourselves out of the mess that we find ourselves in. And then the last point I want to make is that something that I think so few people have observed is that according to the National Development Plan, we need to have on tap 90,000 megawatts by the year 2030. The year 2030 is 15 years away from now. The other important point to understand is that there's no doubt that a lot of the existing grid will in fact, or not the grid so much as the generating capacity, will in fact have reached end of life. The implication of this is that we don't just need to build up to a capacity of 90,000 megawatts. We probably have to seriously consider building 90,000 megawatts over the next 15 years. That's a challenge.